Are you from outside of the US and you want to have a US bank account, US credit cards, you want more US clients and you don't know how it works? Well, today I have a treat for you. I have a client, someone I've worked with and I've helped get set up with multiple bank accounts and credit cards and who works with US companies. And we're going to have a candid conversation about how the process went, what he did to get all these accounts open, and what he would recommend for you guys. So today I have Herman here. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Jim.
So we're in Miami right now, and he was in town. I said, "Hey, let's meet up. Let's do this. If you are a client and you want to meet, send me a message. This is a fun experience." But where are you
Yep.
coming from today? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, great. So I actually flew in from LA, so I'm a little bit jet lagged. That's quite, Jim got me quite early in the morning. But yeah, just flew in from LA. I usually live in between kind of Miami, a little bit of the time in the States, and most of the time in Colombia. Mostly I'm between Colombia, Europe. So I live kind of a little bit everywhere currently.
Nice. And
And go ahead.
you have a European passport, right?
Yeah, I do have an European passport. So originally from Lithuania. And yeah, just do a lot of traveling and working remotely, the digital nomad lifestyle, as they say
Nice.
nowadays. And that's basically what I'm doing right now, is just having some traveling, working with US companies, worked with a lot of different companies. Like when we started working, I was working with a completely different company, then another one, and now I'm finally I would say in a good place. In a great place that, I'm happy and developing.
So what
Let's
was
say.
business like, and what was it like getting new clients and working with people before you had an LLC and US bank accounts and all that set up?
Yeah, so great that you asked that question. So for me, one of the things was always a struggle and kind of this fear, because what happened is I flew out of Lithuania into Colombia right before COVID started, so like in 2020. And I was like, you know what, let me just kind of go explore this opportunity. I had like a job offer. I was like, okay, let me kind of see what happens. So I just went to Colombia. Next thing I know, next year, the full year in 2020, I'm in Colombia, spending the whole time there, working for a company, getting paid. But I was obviously getting paid into my European account. Now, another thing to add more complexity to it, at that time, I actually had like a French tax residency.
Hmm.
So the year 2021 comes around, the French are exploding my emails like, okay, where are your tax reports? Where did you get your income? What happened?
The government or like accountants there that you were working
No, no,
with?
no, no. I wasn't working with the accounts, the actual government. So that,
So in France, if you get residency, the government will contact you to pay your
oh
taxes.
yeah, oh they'll chase you down. They were like, we have this information. Is this correct? What happened? There is something, and I did everything right. So like when I left, I got rid of my insurance ID and all the different things, but they were still contacting me about it. So long story short, the biggest pain was, okay, I'm getting paid into my European accounts. Where is my tax residency? Is it in Colombia? Is it in Lithuania? What am I supposed to do? Um, so, anyways, that was one thing. Then realizing, okay, where am I moving my money through, right? So like if I move it in Colombia, it's a very bad way of getting paid. You have charges, fees,
The
exchange
Dion,
rates, the Dion,
hours and hours at the bank, spending so much time at the
hours
bank.
and hours at the bank. Like that's a crazy one for me. Like the other day, I literally lost my card at the Colombian bank because I do have an account. Spent like 4 hours at the bank trying to get it, just to a replacement,
Yeah,
So
it's
like
a nightmare.
so it is a nightmare. And so yeah, it was been really a blessing, because the moment that I realized, okay, this is a possibility from watching one of your videos, like is this really a thing? Like, can I really have a US account? Like, is it, why haven't I explored this before? I always work with US companies.
Hmm.
Can I have an LLC? Does this make sense? So I started researching it. Then I hopped on a call with you guys, and now I'm all set up. Like, it's the easiest, most flowing transfer money. I have access to everything here, and it's just great.
And I was happy to have you on because you have personal accounts, you have business accounts, you
Yep.
have credit cards, you have all this stuff. So
Yep.
to go through it, I want to jump back real quick about your employer. So were you working with a Colombian company to start with, or was it always with U.S. companies?
Always with US or one Canadian company I used to work, but
And
always from 2020 was always US companies. In Colombia, it was also a coaching company that was ran by an American, and he was
okay,
operating through US. Yeah.
and it's been easier to like get those contracts signed and with the U.S. LLC and the U.S. bank accounts.
Yeah.
Or
I
okay,
mean, it's been definitely so. So here's the thing, European, do you facilitate, like, have access to, like, Wise and Revolut? So, like, you kinda have, like, actually US bank accounts,
US dollar accounts.
US dollar accounts,
Yeah.
but the problem again was the taxes, and you're sending money into Europe, but you're not in Europe. So yes, it was 100% easier because now I have access to Zelle if I need to, like right now, or access to ACH or wires, or just the ability to have like an LLC and when I was living
Without the
abroad.
French tax authorities emailing you, asking you for to pay your
Hello,
taxes.
French authorities. I'm no longer.
Hello, French authorities. So you've been working with U.S. companies or international companies. I understand using like a Revolut account or a European Wise account. The
Yep.
risk of that because then they might want taxes because you're signing up for those as a foreign resident. So, what were some of the initial concerns you had about the LLC about like paying taxes? Was that your main concern?
Taxes. Is it legal?
Yeah.
And that was the biggest one. Like, I don't do anything in the US. You're like, well, is it legal? Like, how does it work? Um, and yeah, like obviously the risk of like, okay, is there like a gray zone? Like, am I gonna lose my money if I use that? Like that kind of thing,
So that's
basically.
so if you're new to the channel, if you're a non-resident, you're performing services outside the U.S. I talk about this on many different videos. As long the U.S. government the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, sources income based on where the services are performed, and having an LLC and having U.S. bank accounts does not constitute having a U.S. trade or business. So you can have U.S. accounts, you can have U.S. LLCs, not corporations, but LLCs. And as long as you're doing the work from outside the US, you don't have to pay taxes here. There are some compliance things you need to do. It's some of the accounts can be annoying to open, but that's the services we're helping clients with. So tell me a little bit about the process of like getting everything set up. Like how did that go of setting up the LLC, picking the state, opening the banks? What did you do first?
So first thing, I researched it on my own. I hopped on a call with one of your guys, I believe. So he gave me some info, but then I was I'm not a skeptic always, but with this stuff, like I'm very careful, especially when it comes to taxes, money, and the word IRS. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay. So I actually decided to hop on directly with you. Like there was an option, so I was like, okay, let me speak to this James guy. Let's see what's going on. And funny thing is, you reminded me a little bit of a villain from a movie. I don't know if you ever seen Iron Man.
Yeah, yeah.
So the very first one, the guy that's like the big, you reminded me a little bit of him. I was like, let me speak to this villain guy.
I'm a villain for the IRS. I'm an
There you
IRS
go.
villain, yes.
Exactly. So no, so I decided to hop on with him and kind of get some clarity, like explain to him my whole situation, see, hey, is this actually possible? And then you said, yeah, everything is good. You explained to me very clearly what's going to happen, and then next thing I know, I'm in contact with your team, and like within I think 2 or 3 weeks, I had the LLC open. I had like I didn't even have to go to the US at that point. Like you guys opened the relay account for me, and everything was just the moment I got the relay account, I was like, okay, cool. Now I have everything. Like I wouldn't even need anything more than that. I went all out. But like
Yeah,
at
that's
that
why.
point, like that's already more than enough for any kind of operations. Like that's still my primary account.
Yeah, I use Revolut, or not Revolut. I use RelayFi myself. I got a
Yep.
Revolut card today, and one of the last videos I applied for Revolut. It's kind of annoying me, but it's fine. The card is cool, but I use RelayFi for everything. And you've actually because you come to the U.S. so much, you've opened other accounts. So you opened
Yep.
personal accounts at a couple of different banks. How did you do that? What address did you use for the personal accounts?
Yeah, so the personal accounts, I have some family here, so like I use some of the family address, like it's still again all fully
Yeah,
legal. So again, I think from what you said, like as long as it's something where you can get mail and like the person and
yeah.
like it's all good. So that's what I use for the personal accounts. And then yeah, and then just came in person and it was, to be honest, like quite easy. I didn't have a driver's license, didn't have like a social security number, nothing at that point at all.
Yeah. Didn't have the social. So you have a couple of different personal accounts, a couple business accounts, and how about the credit cards? How did that go? You used FirstCard, right?
So the credit cards, obviously, I annoyed the hell out of your team, saying, "Where the hell is my ITIN? Make it faster." But I know it was not your
Yeah.
team's fault. But I was very anxious to do that because for me, the credit cards, I always saw them. First of all, like I didn't understand them. I didn't even know anything about credit cards in 2020. I had like a debit card in Europe, and I heard people using credit cards. I thought it was just like a debit card, the name for the credit card.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, so like I got an I-10 through you guys, which obviously was very good. Um, took some time, but from the ETA that you guys gave, it was even shorter. So I'm happy
Good.
with your team. And then as soon as I got the ITIN, I just walked in. No, I was planning on walking in into Chase, but I did because I was traveling. So I just literally went on FirstCard, applied for that with the I-10, and then they opened it. Easy. And then the next thing, like 2 months later, I applied for Capital One secured Quicksilver, and then they opened that as well. And
I think
then
you were
yeah,
actually the one who told me about First Card. I
yeah,
think I'd heard of it, but you shared your because we've been texting. Whenever you have a
yep,
question with my Peace of Mind Plus packages that we offer for our clients, you can actually just WhatsApp me. So he was chatting with me on WhatsApp and told me about it, and then I looked into it. I contacted them. I made a video about First Card
days later.
it was a couple weeks later, but
Yeah.
but that was really helpful. So thanks for sharing that. And I'm glad it's working out for you. They seem to have some good perks. For $5 a month is what they charge, which is pretty reasonable. If it's $60 a year,
They changed the structure now.
they did.
Yeah, they did the structure, but their perks are great. Like there's one like if you get their full package, I don't know which one it is, but like you have no FX fees and it's actually a credit card. So for me, the biggest thing about credit cards, kind of to wrap
Oh,
on
so there's
that,
no FX fees at all, so you can use it
if
anywhere.
you have like the biggest the best package. At that time
Okay.
was five. I think they increased it. They gave like different tiers now for
Okay.
obvious reasons. I imagine they want to make money. Um, but the biggest thing about credit cards, and this is what I will say, even during this, like if I didn't have these credit cards, it would have been a pain to do this work trip that I had because you cannot rent a car in the States.
Mm,
You can't rent
yeah.
that was the biggest thing. Like anywhere you go, like you can't rent a car without a credit card. Like I'm like, how am I supposed to rent a car? Debit? No, we don't accept debit.
That happens to me too. I don't use credit cards because I used to have a lot of credit cards, and then I had a tough period in life when I had to use them, and then I paid them all off, and I'm like, I'm not doing this again, and I
Yeah.
kind of closed them all. But now I don't. It was like I had the period where I have like 4 debit cards, but I have no credit cards, and I couldn't rent a car, and I forgot about that too. That is funny.
Yeah,
If
no,
you,
it makes life complicated. Like it's literally what happened to me in so what happened, just to give you some background about the credit cards. So I was going to so I went to Dallas. We had like a company event. If you want to, I can tell you more about that. And then I went to Huntington Beach. So I flew in from Dallas into Santa Ana Airport, and I rented a car online. So I didn't pay for it. I was like, okay, let me go through this kayak thing or Expedia, and like so I got the car. I arrive at the counter, and they're like, oh no, because you're a foreigner, we need everything to be paid on the credit card. And I didn't even have enough credits because I was like paying some things on the thing, so I couldn't even
yeah,
get a car. Imagine that. Even with the credit card, it was a pain. So I had to wait the next day till the payment's posted because it was a Sunday that I flew in. So to pay that off to get the credit limit, and so like yeah, it's impossible to do it without it. Literally.
very interesting. And so how do you come to the U.S. for these trips, these meetings often?
Yeah, I come to the U.S. Couple times a year.
Okay,
It
so
depends. Some of the times I used to spend a bit more time in Miami. Sometimes I visit family, but right now, this trip this year was mostly for a work man. Yeah,
okay, so not too many times. So if you are in the US less than 120 days a year over year, you wouldn't have any tax issues really.
yeah.
Technically, if you're earning income here, that would be subject to tax, but it sounds like you're just doing meetings. Like you're not really doing work, it's team meetings and stuff.
No, exactly. So like these company events, they're not work trips, right? So like I'm just here to kind of meet some of the people that I work with and just
Yeah.
hang out and just attend the event. It's not something that I'm getting AKA paid to do. So yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting. So do you have any tips or anything for people who are like you from not American, just anyone who's not an American who needs to open accounts and this stuff? Do you have any tips or any, especially people maybe traveling to the US for getting their accounts open?
Hire this guy.
You heard it
that's
here.
that's my tip. Hire this guy. Like seriously, like here's the thing. Wherever you are, like it really depends on your status. So first thing I would say, just get a hop on a consultation, see what's your situation for you, obviously. Um, but I know so many people, especially people that are working like in Colombia, Medellin, my Colombian friends. If you're not American, get an LLC. Like you're gonna save on taxes and peace of mind, and have like more ability to do things that you couldn't do before, right? So That's my tip because even if you're Colombian, pretty sure, right? If you're
Yeah.
Colombian, you can get an LLC, right? And I think you have. I don't know the packages that you have right now. Like I know I
It's the
just went
same
for
as
the.
on the website. I mean,
Yeah,
it's the same kind of packages. We're trying to help people out. I have videos, of course, if you're following the channel, we have a lot of videos on how to do it yourself. If you have a lot of time and you have some connections, it's harder now with the addresses. You have only really Mercury is like kind of the only option if you're using a registered agent address. Wise has been difficult. AirWallX doesn't really work. RelayFi needs to have a good address, and that's what part of what we're providing with the clients is business addresses that work for getting these
yeah.
accounts open. I don't want it to be a hard sales video, but I think we do have a great service. And I wanted to give this interview to give you some information or some feedback from clients and how it's going and to let you guys know a little bit about how the process works. I don't really have any other questions for you today. I think this was a really productive video. I think it was really good to meet you and hear your story. If you
Got it.
guys want to get in contact with me or the team, you can contact us at www.jamesbakercpa.com/schedule. The link will be in the description. And thanks for being here. If you have any other comments or anything you missed or you want me to go over in the next interview, next time I have a client in town, put it in the chat or in the thing below, and we'll see you there.